Hey everybody, it's Peter from Brantford Kia, and this is the 2019 Kia Optima. Now, we've been waiting a long time for this car because every time we get one in, it goes right out. Now, you may think that the mid-size segment is dead, but the reality is it's only shrinking. And what that means is that manufacturers have had to build more value into this segment, and this car is tremendous value. So we have an LX Plus model. We're gonna go over the car, we're gonna look at the front, we're gonna look at the back, we're gonna sit in the back, we're gonna sit in the front, we're gonna talk about all the features. We're gonna do a complete walk around of this car. Because if you're looking for a car with a lot of safety features, a lot of just overall features, great comfort, great fuel economy, this is a car that should be on your shopping list, even if you're thinking SUVs. So again, we have plenty of SUVs, but this car is a car that sells, and it sells on value. So let's go talk about it right now. All right, so we'll start at the front end of this car, and the LX Plus model was kind of the lower end trim level. It still is the lower end trim level. And what they used to do is kind of have a plain looking front end on the lower end cars and a real upscale look on the higher end cars. But what I love about this is the LX Plus, the way the model lines go is LX and then LX Plus. So it's one step up from the very base model. This is gonna be a volume seller for us. But the LX Plus model here has got these cool LED lights, not just a single line, but a double line here, down there. Sometimes they flicker on the video, they may not be flickering, and sometimes they just look like chrome on the video, but these are actually LED lights. You've got projector beam headlights in there. You've got a different style, sort of a piano black finish grille out front here, surrounded by a chrome grille. You've got that tiger nose grille that Kia does, so that pinches in here. And you've got lights down here as well, black trim, a real pronounced spoiler in the front. Sometimes they used to simplify the bumpers on the lower end cars, not so much here anymore. Underneath the hood, a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder engine with 185 horsepower. That's as much power as the old V6s used to have. So you've got plenty of power, but you've also got really, really good fuel economy. And this car on a road trip, people are always amazed at the real world fuel economy it gets. And that's, again, just efficiency. You got a 6-speed transmission, so you've got that torquey feeling because of that 6-speed transmission. We've also got sort of that long range gearing because it spreads the gears really well. So a couple other little details. We'll talk about some safety features. We've got lane keeping assist, we've got forward collision avoidance, and a lot of that is done with a camera system up here. So there's a little camera up here. What it does is it watches the road in front of you, it sees the lines, and it is capable of steering the car itself to keep you centered in the lane. Now that kind of blows some people's minds, but if you think about it, if you're playing with your screen in the middle, or you're changing your radio, or changing your climate control, sometimes you can drift in the lane. Having a car on a road trip that can hold you in the lane is a huge safety feature. It also allows you to see, or allows the car to see, what's coming in front of you. So if you get it all distracted, and let's face it, we're all distracted nowadays, the car can watch what's in front of you, and it can prevent a collision for you, or at least minimize the collisions, keep you safe. So that's all part of what gives this car extremely high safety scores. And again, those are features that never even used to be available in the high-end car, and they're now on an LX Plus model. So we're gonna go through the car, talk about more safety features, more other features, but that's sort of the front end of this car. Better design, better safety. Let's check out the trunk now. So as we look at the back end of the car, we still see a lot of design details. There's a subtle little bit of a spoiler in the trunk here, really sharp looking lights, even little aerodynamic details. There's a little edge to the light here, it gives a sharp edge. Some of those sharp edges, just like a spoiler, they cut the wind off. And what that does is it reduces turbulence, reduces drag, and helps keep the car more aerodynamic and therefore more fuel efficient. You've got a little shark fin antenna up top there, so real high-end look there. And the paint on this one, I should point out, is a red paint. It's a metallic red paint. It looks really, really rich. So you can get those high-end paints on the LX Plus trim level. Down low, you've got some chrome detailing. You've got a nice diffuser. Again, these diffusers used to be only on the sports cars. Now they're on the LX Plus model as well. You've got rear backup beepers, so they sense what's behind you and progressively beep faster as you approach something. It's also, of course, got a backup camera, a huge screen where we can see that in there. Now, this car has what's called a smart trunk. And if you've seen my videos before, you've seen me talk about a smart trunk. And what that means is I can approach the back of the car, the lights will blink 5 times, and the trunk will open automatically. So I can hold my gear. I don't have to wave a foot underneath when I'm standing on snow and ice and lose my balance. I can simply approach it with my smart key in hand. And like I said, the lights will blink, the signal lights will blink 5 times in 3 seconds, and the trunk will open automatically. So why didn't I make it happen on this car? Well, a lot of people get mad at me because when I do that, they always figure their trunk is automatically gonna open whenever they have a smart trunk. So I'm proving to you that even with a smart trunk, you can keep that feature off. Even though the key's in my hand, it's right near the back of the car, you don't have to use it. Now what this does do is allow me to pop the button right there and unlock the trunk just from there, or I can hold the key fob button. There's a button on the key fob. When I hold the button like now, the trunk will open automatically as well. So there's a lot of ways to get the trunk to open hands-free. You can do it completely hands-free, you can do it from the key fob, or you can do it from the button down here. You don't have to go inside the car and pop the button from there, but there is that option as well. So a smart trunk can be turned off. If you want to just approach it, not touch it, you can do that. If not, you can just do it regularly. So while we got the trunk here, let's talk about it. It's huge. Big trunk. So again, a lot of people buy SUVs for space. They forget how big a trunk is in a regular car. What you lose from an SUV to a car is the size of the opening. This is a smaller opening than on an SUV, but you still have a lot more floor space than most SUVs and plenty of luggage space to go on multi-day trips. So a lot of space in there. You can put cargo nets in here, all kinds of things you can do. One little thing I like, in Canada especially, cars get salty in the winter. When you shut the trunk from the paint here, you can scratch the paint. This one's got a handle inside. Pull the handle, you can shut it, no problem at all. Let's go check out the back seat now. All right, so I'm not in the back seat, but here comes the big test. Can I hop in easily? Yes, I can. So here's the thing that people forget about Kias, is they have a really wide opening door and a good opening for the passenger to get in. There's no big hump over the wheel that you have to climb over. It's easy to get in and out of a car like this, and it's not that low. Even though people say, oh, I don't want a sedan anymore because you have to get down into the car, the rear seats, especially in this car, are quite high, and they're very similar to a lot of SUVs or crossovers. So the thing I like about the high seats is they allow your legs to be virtually flat. I'm about 6 feet tall, and my legs are virtually flat on the seat here. I've got tons of legroom, and this seat is back farther than I would put it at, and I'll show you that in a second. It's set to come back when the car turns off, so this is much farther than I would have it at for me when I'm sitting down. I've got a ton of headroom, over a fistful above my head before I hit the ceiling. You've got an armrest here that falls not to the seat, but stays above it, and what that means is that you've got a nice, it falls readily to your arms instead of falling, just flopping down and being sort of a token armrest. It falls where you would want it to sit for your elbow. 2 cup holders in here, actually a third smaller little holder in here. You've got plastic backing on the seats with the cargo net on both seats. Now, the thing I like about the plastic backing is if you ever have kids in the back seat of the car, you've got something that's easy to wipe down and easy to keep clean. If it's only fabric, you can get that really dirty. Plastic back here, no problem, you can wipe it clean. So you've got power windows, you've got padded armrests on the doors, nice black and light color trim. So everything above the belt line basically of the car is a light color, so it makes it feel nice and airy in here. Everything below is a nice dark color, makes it feel nice and rich. So very practical back seat. You can fit 5 people comfortably for a long trip, or 5 people comfortably for around town. 4 people for sure on a very long trip. Very comfortable. Of course, 5-seater cars, the center seat is a little bit less comfortable, but totally workable for just about any other trip other than a very long trip. Let's go to the driver's seat. We're going to talk comfort, we're going to talk features, we're going to talk technology. All right, so the driver's seat of this car is very cool. There's a lot of little details that make it very nice. First of all, you've got a cloth seat. It's got multi-layers of fabric, different type of fabric stitching. It's a sharp looking seat with, you know, a lot of people think you have to go to leather to have a nice seat, but this has got a real nice mix of cloth to have a nice seat. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the car up. Hit the start button, my seat's coming forward. That's a setting you can have in the car. You can set it to go back a long ways or just a little ways. In fact, it's still back too far for me, so we'll move it up a little bit more. That's where I'd like to be sitting. But again, it moves the seat back so I can get in and out easily. You can do lots of things to get comfortable. You've got a tilt and telescopic steering wheel. So it comes up and down, goes in and out. You can put it wherever you want it. You've got a power driver seat on this side. So driver's seat also has the lumbar support, not just in and out, but you can move that lumbar up and down, which I find really helpful because there's no point having lumbar support if they put it in the wrong spot. And different people need lumbar in a little bit different spot. So again, LX Plus model, 1 step up from base, and you're getting that in this car. Let's talk some safety features. We talked about the lane keeping assist. It's capability to steer the car. You can set that as just a lane departure warning. So if you brush against the line, it'll just beep at you. You can set it to steer you back in if you brush against the line. So you can wait till you actually touch the line before the car tries to attempt to steer it back in. Or you can set it for an active setting, which is what I prefer to set it at, where it keeps you centered in the lane. You keep 2 fingers on the wheel on a long road trip, it's going to keep you in the center lane the entire trip. You can change that a thumbs button switch away, very easy to do at any point, and you can turn the whole system off if that's not your cup of tea, if it's not what you want. Sometimes one driver will want it, another driver won't. Sometimes the type of drive you want, you'll want it. Certain conditions have to be met for it to steer itself, and it doesn't really steer itself, it just keeps it centered in the lane. But it's a really cool system, something worth trying out, and it keeps you safe. So, blind spot detection, you've also got that in an LX Plus, which means you have little orange lights in your mirrors. As somebody's coming up in your blind spot, the little orange light in the mirror will light up. That'll tell you that there's somebody in your blind spot. Super helpful. the same hardware, so that same radar system that sees the car beside you, is also useful when you're backing up. So let's say we're in a parking spot, we're backing up the car, and you can't see because there's some minivan or work van or something beside you, but the back end of the car will clear that, and it can see oncoming pedestrians, it can see oncoming vehicles, and what it does is it beeps at you and tells you, hey, there's somebody approaching from the left or the right side, you know, just be aware. So you can look at that backup camera and trust that system as well as your eyes to see things that you couldn't see with your eyes. So that's what's cool about that. Any car with blind spot detection has what's called rear cross traffic alert. That cross traffic alert does exactly that, alerts you if there's traffic crossing you that maybe you can't see or maybe you didn't notice. Standard in the LX Plus car here. Let's talk about some of the basic features. Automatic headlights, so they turn on automatically when the sun gets down. You can set them to turn on yourself, but you're never that car driving with no taillights on, because all these daytime running lights, sometimes people think they have headlights. You're always going to be that car with the headlights on, the taillights on, when they need to be on in dark conditions. All right, moving across, you've got cruise control here, you've got an information display buttons here, Bluetooth and audio controls right on the steering wheel. You've got auto up windows on the driver's side and passenger side, power windows of course. I forgot to mention the power seats here are also memory seats, 2 memory seats. So if you share this car with someone else, set the first driver to number 1, set the second driver to number 2, and if you're like me and somebody messing with your power seats, it really drives you nuts, takes you a while to get it back to normal. So memory seats are the way to go when you have power seats. What else can we talk about? We should probably move our way across to here. You've got a big 8-inch screen over here. That 8-inch screen has standard Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So what does that mean? The big thing that people like about those two features is depending on which phone you have, Apple or Android, you have navigation. So that navigation uses just a tiny, tiny little bit of data on your cell phone plan, but it brings everything up to this touch screen up here. So you've got navigation right in there through your cell phone with the most up-to-date maps in the world, through Google Maps, through Apple Maps. And it also gives you all sorts of enhanced features to text by voice, to call by voice, to play music, all kinds of things. And it's set up to be used while you're driving so that it's less distracting than a regular phone. Still going to be somewhat distracting, and that's what some of these safety features are there to help you with. But you're certainly feature full in this car. And also that backup screen, I'll show you right here. Nice big clear backup camera. So when you put it in reverse, you've got the backup camera, you've got the rear beepers, like I said. So even if you don't notice it in the backup camera, you'll hear the car beeping progressively quicker as something gets closer to you. You can turn those off if you don't like them. And the other thing they do is the mirrors, you can set them to tilt down as you back up. So not all of our cars have had that, but backing up in this car, very, very safe, makes it very easy to park. So the mirrors can tilt down in reverse, backup beepers, backup camera. I mean, you're really well equipped safety-wise. Let's talk just general comfort. Seats are comfortable. Like I said, lots of space in the back, lots of space in the front. These cloth seats, I'm a big fan of cloth seats. A lot of times you wait for leather seats to get heated seats. This one has 3 levels of seat heating in the front and also a heated steering wheel. So again, LX Plus, really, really loaded with features. Let's see, moving on, what have we got? We've got an auto dimming rear view mirror, so you never have to flip that little lever on there. If people's headlights behind you are bright, it'll adjust on its own. You've got sunglasses holder up here, you've got reading lamps up here. You can set them to the door, set them to whatever you want. You've got mirrors, of course, up here, lighted as well. So all the little features you're probably looking for, this car has. I really love this car. A lot of our staff really like this car. A couple of our staff drive this car. They drive Optimas. You know, this is a car where, yes, the segment, the mid-size segment is shrinking, but the value in these cars and the way they ride, the fuel economy they get, this is a great car for a lot of people, a lot of families still. So even though you may be thinking SUV, it's worth a test drive of this car. All right, let's hop out. I think I've covered everything. Oh, maybe I didn't cover everything down here. The nice little storage tray down here where you can plug in for that Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. We talked about drive. No, we didn't talk about drive modes. So you've got comfort, you've got eco, and you've got sport. So what that basically means is from the factory, the car is set up a certain way. If you prefer to have a more sporty car, leave it in sport. It'll give you a more aggressive feel. If you drive economically and you want your car to work with you to get good fuel economy, leave it in eco. If not, leave it in comfort. Comfort is sort of the best balance of everything, and you can just literally at the press of a button change the car's mood in there. While we're at it, we'll talk about the drive. When we're talking about drive modes, you can also slide the car left when you're in drive, slide the gear shift left towards you when you're in drive, and you can manually shift it through 6 gears. So it gives you a lot more control. Even though you have an automatic transmission, you can choose what you want to choose. What else can we talk about? There's probably a lot more. Stitching on the dash, really nice feel inside, leather steering wheel, a really nice place to be, and a really good value, keeping in mind there's several trim levels above this to move up and up and up. But right at this level, I think that's where the sweet spot is of this car for value and features. Let's finish up the video by talking about a couple more things outside. So I probably left something out. There's probably a detail that you want to know about this car. If that's the case, that's what the comment section's for on YouTube. Let me know in the comments, because we read the comments, we respond to them, and sometimes we'll just write a comment, but sometimes we'll make an entirely new video just to show you what's going on. So why do we do these videos? Well, first of all, we've had 500,000 views since Christmas. It's mid-March right now. We get a lot of traffic on these videos, and we feel like you want them, but we're trying to earn your business. So the other thing we've done is just last year we won the Platinum Prestige Award from Kia. That puts us in the top 3 percentile of Kia dealers everywhere in the world. So we've won that award. We're doing a whole bunch of things to earn your business, and we hope that if you're in the Ontario, Greater Toronto area, that you're giving us a chance to show you what it's like to work with us. So there you go, everybody. This is the 2019 Kia Optima. I know you're gonna have questions, let me know. And again, if we can earn your business, we'd love to do so. Give us a call, 519-304-6542. You can reach us at internetsales@brantfordkia.ca. And if you have questions, let us know, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks everybody for watching.